Well, as Anchorage's largest city votes tonight, the early numbers trending show voters are in the spending mood.
And if the numbers hold with the certification about 3 weeks away, property taxes will likely increase. Our team standing by to break down what all this means, as we're also watching a good night for incumbents. And that's where we're going to start our coverage tonight with the Anchorage Assembly.
Now, half of the seats were open and only 2 incumbents ran for re-election. And as of this moment, it looks like they will keep those jobs. Joe Allgood has the update.
That's right. Assembly Chair Chris Constant, who is not running for re-election, telling me just a few minutes ago the results so far match the, quote, status quo he was expecting, including the 2 incumbent members keeping their seats if the early numbers hold. That includes incumbent Daniel Voland, leading with a little over 56% of the vote. Daniel George has a little under 30%, and Nick Danger has about 8.5%. In West Anchorage, our second incumbent, Cameron Perez-Verdilla, is winning with a little over 60% for District 3. The race for the Chugiak-Eagle River seat is one we've been watching. So far, Jared Gecker is leading with 49.9%. Gecker might be familiar to voters after he ran for state senate last year. Gecker is a conservative voice, and we will look to see what this race means for the Assembly's balance of power. In Midtown, Aaron Baldwin-Day is leading with 59.9% over former Assembly member Don Smith for the seat in District 4. And in East Anchorage, Yarrow Silvers leads with 47.82% against her 2 opponents who are hovering around 20%. And finally, in South Anchorage, Keith McCormick is pulling away handily with over 82% of the vote. So far, the Municipal Division of Elections is reporting that a little over 38,600 ballots have been returned. So again, these early unofficial results might shift a little, but it seems we have a pretty good idea of where they're at right now. Joe Allgood, Alaska's news source.
And from the Assembly races to education.
Proposition 1 to pay $63 million for school safety improvements is close and passing right now by 964 votes. Now, that comes as the Anchorage School Board, like many districts in the state, face difficult budget decisions this year.
Tracy Sinclair tells us so far a good night for the incumbents. Tracy.
Yes, early in this election, it appears that voters agree, at least overall, with the decisions of the Anchorage School Board as they are on their way to re-elect the 2 incumbents. Margot Bellamy is currently leading 58% to Alexander Rosali's 41%. If that trend continues, Bellamy will be serving her 3rd term on the Anchorage School Board. She's previously served as president of the board. And the other seat up for grabs, Kelly Lessons is currently leading 58% to 41% as well over Mark Anthony Cox. Again, still early in the process, but if Lessons continues to lead, this will be her 2nd full term. Now, this is when 16% of all possible votes is in. On average, when it's not a mayoral election year, about 27% of the city votes for these school board seats. So we would typically expect another 25,000 votes to come in for these seats.
The education proposition, not the only one passing early votes trending towards Anchorage property taxes, likely increasing.
Yeah, voters saying yes for improvements to parks and trails, infrastructure, and public safety, except new police cars. Justin Matson's here to break it all down. Justin.
Yeah, the early numbers show most propositions passing except new police vehicles. This year includes a yes so far to spending $3 million on new snowplows. So far, Proposition 10 passing with 59% of the vote. We'll move on to the next series of public safety votes. The $3 million special tax levy to help the police department pay for the replacement of their police vehicles, failing with 53% of that vote. That is the only rejection to public safety. Voters saying yes to $3 million in upgrades to the Anchorage Police Department systems by 51%, and the bond to replace ambulances and upgrade safety systems passing by 56%. Replace fire engine trucks and water tenders for a total of $2 million, also passing with about 63% of the vote. Switching on over to Parks and Recreation, Prop 3 includes Anchorage Town Square upgrades along with multiple park and trail upgrades, passing by 54%. New Chugach State Park overflow parking also passing now by 53%. And infrastructure having a good night too, $33 million in road and storm drain upgrades, passing with about 60% of the vote right now. Repairs for Anchorage libraries and the Senior Center also passing right now with 57% voting in favor. If these election results hold, property taxpayers can expect an increase based on school district and city estimates by close to $40 per $100,000 in assessed value. A quick note, also tonight, so far, Girdwood is rejecting road upgrades. All results on our webpage and mobile app. Justin Matson, Alaska's news source.